The Skirmish game mode was just released to Hell Let Loose with patch 14.8 on February 29th, 2024. Let's talk about how it works.
What'd he say his name was?
Gebatron.
Hello everyone, I am Gebatron. As of the making of this video, Skirmish mode is available on two separate maps, El Alamein and Driel. Driel? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. However, there are different variations such as day and night. Perhaps we'll see more maps in the future. Let us know what maps you think would work well for Skirmish down in the comments. While Skirmish mode is still a 50v50 game mode, teams are restricted to one armor squad and one recon squad. Another thing to note is that artillery guns are not available for either team in Skirmish mode. Skirmish matches are 33 minutes long total, and this includes a 3-minute warm-up period for teams to organize. You cannot go further than the third column or row during this warm-up period. Map size is reduced for Skirmish. A regular map in Hell Let Loose is 2,000 meters by 1,200 meters or 2.4 square kilometers, while Skirmish maps are 1,400 meters by 1,120 meters or 1.568 square kilometers. So Skirmish maps are 35% smaller than regular maps, or another way to say that is that Skirmish maps are 65% of the normal size. Each grid square in Skirmish is 140 by 140 meters. At the very top of the map, we can see our resources. You'll notice right away that we are gaining plus 50 of everything rather than the plus 30 of the other game modes. This is because there are two sets of nodes built by default at the beginning of the match, one in each of your two available HQs. Teams are still allowed to build one additional set of nodes in order to bring their gain up to plus 60 per minute. Note that while these nodes cannot be dismantled, even by friendlies, these default nodes can still be destroyed by the enemy, and if they do get destroyed, your team will be able to build new nodes to replace them to a maximum of 3 sets of nodes. Now let's clarify what is locked and unlocked territory and which squads can operate where. Your HQ sector is locked friendly territory and is off limits to all enemy units. The next sector is locked friendly territory. All enemy units are able to enter this territory and operate, but only the enemy recon squad can build an OP here. Next is the middle sector containing the cap zone and the corresponding strong point. At match start, this is neutral territory, but becomes either unlocked friendly or unlocked enemy territory, depending on which team controls it. All squads can operate and build spawns here, no matter who controls it. Next is enemy locked territory. All squads can operate here, but only your friendly recon squad can build their OP here. And finally, we have the enemy HQ sector, which is locked enemy territory and is off limits to all friendly squads. Let's talk spawns. We have 2 HQ spawns rather than the normal 3, but their spawn times are the same at 10 seconds. There are no garrisons in Skirmish. In their place, we have the forward position. It's very similar to a garrison, but there are some differences. They're still built the same way. Officers can use their watch to build them as long as they are within 50 meters of supplies. Looking at the map, we can see a yellow ring around our forward position. This ring surrounds it at a distance of 140 meters. You are not allowed to build another forward position within this 140 meter distance. So this yellow ring is a building distance indicator. This should make it easier for players to know at a glance where they can go. They have a continuously running 40-second spawn timer and alert you if enemies are within 50 meters. They will lock, but only if the enemy is practically right on top of them. You cannot place forward positions in locked enemy territory, and they behave the same regardless of territory type. Your team is allowed a maximum of 8 forward positions at any one time. Where can they be built? Forward positions can be built anywhere in friendly territory with 50 supplies and anywhere in unlocked enemy territory for 100 supplies. There is also a 2-minute cooldown on building forward positions, similar to how OPs work. Speaking of OPs, they work the same as in the other game modes and can only be built in friendly territory or unlocked enemy territory. The only exception is the recon squad's OP, which can be built in enemy locked territory. OPs detect enemies within 50 meters and are destroyed if the enemy comes within 10 meters, and this is regardless of territory type. They also have a 20-second spawn timer. Airheads can be dropped in all territory except the enemy HQ sector. They detect enemies within 50 meters, lock when enemies are within 15 meters, and have a 30-second spawn timer. This is all regardless of the territory type they are in. Half-tracks can be driven in any territory except the enemy HQ, but they can only be deployed in unlocked territory or friendly territory. They detect enemies within 50 meters, lock when they are within 10 meters, and have a 60-second spawn timer, and all of this is regardless of territory. Speaking of half-tracks, let's talk vehicles and vehicle limits. Default vehicles include 2 transport trucks, 1 at each HQ, and 1 medium piece of armor. These default vehicles will respawn 5 minutes after they are destroyed, whether that's from enemy action or from self-destructing 10 minutes after being abandoned, and they do not cost fuel. The team can have a maximum of 5 commander spawn vehicles at any one time. These 5 vehicles can be any combination the commander wishes, with a couple of exceptions. First is that there is still a limit of only 3 half-tracks at any one time, and medium armor is the only armor available in skirmish mode. So no heavy tanks, no light tanks, and no recon vehicles. All commander spawn vehicles cost fuel. While on the subject of vehicles, supply trucks must be outside of your friendly HQ sector in order to drop their supplies. So the same as warfare mode. Alright, so how do you win? Victory conditions. Whoever controls the middle sector when time expires is the victor. The middle sector can change hands many times throughout the match, but it only matters who controls it at the end. However, overtime can be forced in skirmish mode. I won't go into how that works in this video, but you can learn all about it in the video at the top right. How do you capture the middle sector? I won't go into tactics here, just the mechanics. Capturing territory in skirmish works the same as in warfare mode. This entire 2-row wide area is the sector. Inside that sector, we have 4 grid squares that surround our strong point. In skirmish mode, this area is grayed out to better help players visualize it. This area is called the cap zone, and soldiers inside it contribute +1 to their team's capture weight. Inside this cap zone, we of course have our strong point. Soldiers inside the strong point contribute +3 to their team's capture weight. For example, here on El Alamein, if the British control the sector and only have 1 soldier in the strong point, and the Germans have 1 soldier in the cap zone, then the British will be defending their territory. If the Germans have 3 soldiers in the cap zone, then the territory will be contested. If the Germans have 4 soldiers in the cap zone, then the British will begin losing the territory. Capturing this territory will take 2 minutes if uninterrupted. This 2 minutes can be paused if the territory becomes contested, or it can be lengthened by the status of the territory changing throughout the process, but it cannot be sped up. Remember to ask any questions in the comments. Here are a couple bonus bits for those of you who stuck around to the end. For those of you who are paying close attention, you may have noticed earlier when talking about resources that I said that friendly nodes could not be dismantled even by friendlies. The reason they can't be dismantled by the enemy is simply because the enemy can't enter your HQ sector without dying after 10 seconds. But I did say they could still be destroyed. A bombing run will still destroy them. Since these nodes are default, they are always in the same spot every match. So as a commander, you can basically start off each match knowing where 2 sets of the enemy nodes are. Now matches are 33 minutes long and bombing runs have a cooldown of 10 minutes, so you'll only get 3 a match if you're using them every time they are available, but you do have the option to use a couple of them in the interdiction role to disrupt enemy resource production. Is it worth it? I don't know. Once destroyed, the enemy can just build new nodes, but I have seen plenty of these matches so far where the extra set isn't being built in the first place, and reducing the enemy's manpower gain could come in handy in the event of overtime. But I'll leave that up to you all to discuss down in the comments. Either way, it is an option. Second bonus thing is that while recon squads aren't allowed to operate in the enemy HQ sectors, they can actually build their OPs there. Again, not sure how useful this is because you won't be able to build them too deep, as you'll need to get out before 10 seconds passes. But I'm sure some recon players who are more clever than I am can find a way to use this to their advantage. Okay, I think that's all there is to know about how skirmish mode works. If I missed anything, let me know, and I'll put any updates down in the pinned comments. Ask any questions you may have down in those comments. Leave a like if you learned something new. Share with others to help spread the info. Subscribe to learn all about Hell Let Loose. Consider becoming a member for early access to new videos. Plenty of other ways to support what I do here down in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.